This is VSIN PrimeTime with Tim Murray and Sean King on VSIN, the sports betting network.
Make this football season your best ever by becoming a VSIN Pro subscriber. Get full access to everything we do, our daily best bets with a leaderboard to see which VSIN expert has the hot hand, betting splits, the show where the money and bets are moving for every game, plus betting systems, premium analysis, and 24/7 video access. Sign up for a VSIN annual subscription, and you'll get a free copy of Michael Lombardi's new book, Football Done Right. Just use the promo code Lombardi when you sign up. If you like an autographed copy of Michael's book, just email us at subscribe@vsin.com. This is a limited time offer, so sign up today. vsin.com/subscribe. Alongside Sean King, I am Tim Murray. It is VSIN Primetime. Week 1 in the rear view. Week 2 begins on Thursday night in Philadelphia. Minnesota Vikings traveling to the city of brotherly love. Right now, the Philadelphia Eagles sit as a 7-point favorite. We're doing a top 3 Tuesday later on in this hour, and we'll be taking a look at our most disappointing things that we saw in week number 1. And I think a lot of Jets fans would say, well, number 1 was we got to see 4 plays of Aaron Rodgers, who tore his Achilles. He is done for the year. It will be Zach Wilson moving forward. And to give us the latest on how the Jets fans are taking this and what to expect from the Jets moving forward, we welcome in Jake Asman. You can follow him on Twitter at Jake ASMAN, and you can check him out on YouTube. Also, ESPN 98.7 in New York City. So, Jake, obviously, the pulse of the fan has to be pretty low right now, thinking back to, 1999 with the Vinny Testaverde ruptured Achilles. Moving forward, though, with Zach Wilson, do you expect the confidence to be there from Nathaniel Hackett and this offensive staff? Because it certainly didn't feel like last night they trusted Zach Wilson whatsoever.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, guys. Wish it was under better circumstances, obviously. Look, if they're going to stick with Zach Wilson, I mean, you can't operate an NFL offense scared. I mean, as good as the Jets defense is, you're going to need your quarterback to be able to make some plays. As good as their running game is, you're still going to need your quarterback to go out there and make some plays downfield. And, last night I think it was obvious they were trying to, limit Zach Wilson's opportunities. But you look at the weapons on this team, mainly Garrett Wilson, who is a legitimate superstar that the entire country, I'm so glad, got a chance to watch last night, because we Jet fans knew how good this guy was, watching him every snap during his Offensive Rookie of the Year campaign a season ago. You had the weapons. Does Zach have more confidence? I mean, he says he does. Obviously, I think there's better coaching around him than there was at this time a year ago. Coach Aaron Rodgers now seemingly is going to be around to help him out. But I'd be lying to you, Tim, if I said, hey, I feel really good about Zach Wilson, because I don't. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope he goes out there and plays great. But I just need Zach Wilson to be mediocre, and I think they could win some games. And I don't feel great about his ability to do that. But I once again, I hope I'm wrong. I just have been scarred too many times watching young Jet quarterbacks.
I don't want to change the direction you're looking in, Jake, but I want to narrow the focus to what you're looking at, because I don't think Zach Wilson is the concern. I think it's Nathaniel Hackett. Let's think back to this offseason. Something happened that never happens in that profession. A sitting head coach publicly criticized his predecessor. Actually said, if I'm not mistaken, this was the worst job of coaching I've ever seen. Now, the comfort in having Nathaniel Hackett, who, by the way, did not call the plays in Green Bay, with the Jets as the OC after the failure in Denver, was the fact that Aaron would be at quarterback. So a lot of things will get adjusted and changed at the line of scrimmage. My question to you is, Nathaniel Hackett capable of being creative enough to come up with game plans for the upcoming opponent? And then is he stable and confident enough to make the adjustments from the sideline on game day to put those guys in the best position?
It's a fair question. And look, Nathaniel Hackett as a head coach obviously was bad. There's no denying that, and that's obvious. But, it's a different role. And you look at Nathaniel Hackett in his career, of course, people will point to his time in Green Bay where him and Rodgers obviously had a tremendous amount of success together. But I go back to the fact Nathaniel Hackett was the offensive coordinator of the 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars. That was a football team with Blake Bortles that went all the way to the AFC title game. They were a top 10 offense. They had a top 5 rushing attack. I think the Jets offense is going to be a lot of Breece Hall, a lot of Dalvin Cook, a lot of 12 personnel. You saw it last night. They were using a lot of tight ends and only one wide receiver out there and just trying to kind of ground and pound like we saw the Jets do back when they were really good multiple years in a row with Rex Ryan as their head coach. So I think because Hackett at least has that to fall back on, I would expect the Jets to be trying to run the football as much as they can because they seemingly have 2 legitimate running backs that can hopefully help Zach Wilson out as he eases his transition back to being the starter.
Second question I have, Jake, and we really appreciate you coming on VSIN PrimeTime. It's really a pleasure. Dwayne Brown, has anybody questioned him about what exactly in the hell he was doing? If you look at the replay, 4 of the 5 offensive linemen are dropping back, are in drop back pass protection, meaning it's a down the field throw. Dwayne Brown attempted to cut, which means that he thought it was a quick throw. Ball was going to come out. So it looks like there was some kind of miscommunication because he definitely was not doing the same thing the other 4 offensive linemen were on that particular play. Now, would Aaron still have gotten injured? We don't know. But has anybody questioned him about what actually he was doing?
So I know after the game he spoke and, he almost broke down talking about how devastated he was, to see Aaron Rodgers get hurt. I mean, a lot of people maybe don't realize this. Dwayne Brown and Aaron Rodgers are really good friends. They work out together in Southern California together. Dwayne Brown chose to come back to the Jets after having shoulder surgery this past offseason in large part because he looked at this team with Rodgers as his new quarterback as, an opportunity for him to maybe win a Super Bowl ring. So I'm sure he's crushed. And look, Dwayne Brown didn't play in the preseason. He was on the PUP list. He got off the PUP list about 2 weeks before the start of this game last night. So he was rusty. Maybe there was that miscommunication between him and Rodgers on that play, and it obviously led to the worst case scenario for any Jet fan. So it's brutal. It is one of the worst moments in the history of the Jet franchise, and a team that clearly has a Super Bowl caliber roster 4 snaps in to Aaron Rodgers' Jet career, his Achilles snaps, and essentially your Super Bowl dream died that quickly in week 1. It's unbelievable.
YouTube.com/Jake Asman. That's ASMAN at Jake Asman on Twitter. You can catch him in New York City on ESPN 98.7 as well. So what's next at the quarterback position? I know Robert Saleh said we're moving forward with Zach Wilson at quarterback, but I would imagine going to kick the tires on someone. Jake, do you believe it'll be a free agent like a Joe Flacco who has already expressed interest of returning, or is it someone that could get, for a late round pick, whether it be a Jacoby Brissett at Washington, a Jameis Winston? I've seen some people, throw out Ryan Tannehill as well. What do you think the Jets ultimately do with the quarterback position?
It's so tricky because can they do something right now in week 2? It might be difficult. I think no matter what, Zach Wilson's going to get a couple of games here. And I think best case scenario for the Jets, he goes out there and he's playing like a guy who at one point in time was thought to be, the future franchise QB. Some of the names you mentioned, I'd be on board with. I do not want this team to bring in Joe Flacco, though. He is shot. He's 38. He can't move. He wanted nothing to do with being out there last year. As a Jet fan, I will go under cardiac arrest if they bring back Joe Flacco. So they cannot do that. But I'd be open to a Jameis Winston. Jacoby Brissett would be a name I'd be intrigued by. Taylor Heineke, if you could get him. I think those are reasonable names. I know Robert Saleh committed to Zach Wilson today, but he's supposed to say that. He's got to have his quarterbacks back in the locker room. I think given the Jets bye week after week 6, if they could somehow be 2-4, 3-3 through this stretch, and that win last night buys them a little time, and Zach Wilson is holding them back, well, but then maybe you'll have a much better idea on which quarterbacks are available or what you need to do. But, make no mistake about it, I would be shocked if the Jets don't do something at the quarterback spot because you are making a huge mistake if you just have Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle be your quarterback room. That is a recipe for disaster.
Well, I'll say this. Outside of Aaron Rodgers, who's now injured, they do have a young roster, only a minute left. if you're not going to figure out the quarterback position, you're not winning a championship with Brissett or Heineke. You might be better off, as hard as it might feel, to not be good this year and get one of these quarterbacks in what looks like a loaded draft.
Yeah, I think the problem with that is Tim just kind of referenced, like, it seems too good to be that bad. You know, like they have a top 5 defense. They have some elite weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I think the one benefit is with Rodgers getting hurt, and it's not a benefit. I hate even saying that. They do have their own first-round pick this year. So I think Rodgers will come back next year, maybe play one more year, try and go out on top. And then maybe you draft a quarterback this offseason that Rodgers can mentor if it's proven that Zach's not the guy with this opportunity.
YouTube.com/Jake Asman. That's ASMAN. ESPN 98.7 in New York as well. Jake, appreciate it, man. We'll see you in Vegas when the Jets come to town.
Can't wait, guys. Obviously, hopefully next time we talk, it's under much better circumstances. I love your guys' show. Thanks for having me.
In Zach we trust, baby. In Zach we trust. Don't give up on Zach. He's going to surprise people.
You mean Kirk Cousins with the trade
deadline?
Zach
Wilson.
Oh, Ryan Tannehill. That's right.